dancing, swaying on the orange and pink shag carpeting in my bedroom with the LP playing on the stereo. It was 1983. I felt invincible. The Eagles, Hotel California, Journey, Open Arms, Billy Joel, A Bottle of Red and a Bottle of White, and of course, none other than the boss, Springsteen, Born in the USA. Snap. 2 months later, I hit my head on the bottom of a pool and was paralyzed from the neck down. I went to the ICU and then to a rehabilitation center 2.5 hours away. I couldn't do anything for myself. My independence had been lost. My parents would come to visit me on the weekends, and they weren't happy visits. My mother would cry from the moment she entered the room until the moment she left. My Sheri, what's happened? Your life? What's going to happen to you? And what are you going to do? And how are you going to survive this? It was awful. I went home in April to a place that was exactly the same as I had left it, but nothing about me was the same. Not only that, the sobbing continued. Every morning, this time, standing at the sink, looking out the kitchen window at the yellow school buses driving by, my mom would sob again. This time, more about my life. Sheri, are you going to graduate high school? What about college? What about after that? Will you ever get married? A family? I couldn't take it. So what did I do? I lived in a very small town. There were no sidewalks. There were no stoplights. And there was certainly no way for me to roll to a non-existent Starbucks. So I spent my time in our blacktop driveway with my Walkman, yes, those headphones, the cassette player with the radio on, and I read, and I read, and I read. And one day, on WPDH All Rock, Poughkeepsie, New York, still exists, my favorite station, I heard the announcement that Bruce Springsteen was starting his Born in the USA tour at the Meadowlands in New Jersey, and tickets went on sale on Monday. So at dinner that night, my father, ever the optimist, to my left, my mother across from me, I blurted out, Mom, Dad, Bruce Springsteen is playing at the Meadowlands, and I want to go. Now, I had no idea if anybody would answer me or what the answer would be. But to my surprise, my mother looked up and said, I'll go. So Monday morning, bouffant hairdo, purse on her elbow, she slammed the door of the brown Chevy and drove off to Kingston, New York, 30 miles away, to stand online, not a virtual waiting room, a real line, to buy tickets for the Springsteen concert. Now, she was probably the oldest woman online, even though she looked young for her age. And I don't even know if she knew one song by the boss. And I had no way of keeping in touch with her. So I didn't know how long she'd be gone, how many tickets she would get, when she would come home. 5 hours later, into the driveway, I hear the brown Chevy door close, and I look. And my sobbing mother was not sobbing. She was smiling with her hand in the air, sign of victory, 6 tickets. And as they say in the 80s, sweet. I think now they'd say sick. I don't get that, but. So anyway, I invite my 5 friends. They arrive. We get into my badass big, with the darkened windows, Econoline van. You know those big ass vans they don't make anymore. With my friend Debbie Kelder, all of 17, who just got her driver's license at the wheel. And out we go out of the driveway, the 2-hour drive to New Jersey. Now, mind you, my parents are waving goodbye, and we had no idea where my wheelchair would sit. I mean, my mother had tried. She had gone into the hallway of our house and, like a mad woman, dialed on the rotary phone every number she could find for the Meadowlands, and there was no answer. And nobody knew what I would do. But they let me go anyway, and off I went. And so we got there. We parked the van. We went in on the level into the Brendan Byrne Arena, as it was called. And we were on the level of where we were going to be. But my patch, I will call it a patch, of cement, where my front wheels were teetering off the edge, was 3 levels up from the stage. You know, Nat Stadium, any stadium, really steep concrete steps with no railing. And I was like, holy crap. My first instinct was one sway, one song, and I was a goner. I was down those stairs, out of my chair, smack on the cement. But then the music started, and I felt invincible again. And I felt like I was back on that shag carpeting up in my bedroom. And I was like, you know what? I don't care. I've already broken my neck. It can't get any worse than that. And what a concert. You know, Bruce, 4.5 hours, Dancing in the Dark. Born in the USA played. Clarence went on a huge riff. Twist and Shout, Glory Days. It was awesome. I was free. I felt like I had never felt in so long. We came home. My parents were still awake. And I came into the house. My mom smiled at me, and I smiled at her. Instinctively, I knew that she was thinking, Sheri had done something, and I helped her be independent. And I was thinking, I felt freedom, and I felt joy. Well, that sort of took me on a nice road ahead. I graduated with my high school class. I graduated from college. I moved to DC and went to law school. And guess what else? I met a man. And he was a Boss fan. 13 years ago at my wedding, my parents were out on the dance floor, and I was on the dance floor with my husband. And my mom and I looked at each other, and there weren't sobs, and it wasn't dark. We were smiling. She knew, and I knew, that things were going to be okay, that I could have a happy life, that I could experience joy. And while there may be a little bit of teetering along the way, it was all going to be a journey that would all wind up good. Thanks a lot.